Can you see how people...
The date is the 19th of March, 1286. Alexander III's horse slipped while he was riding on a cliff path on a very wintry night. He had left Edinburgh Castle to travel to Kinghorn in Fife. His advisers pleaded with him to wait until morning, but he was determined to join his new queen. Oh, he was a happy chap after years of tragedy. His wife, sons and daughter had all died. He was now 42 and things were on the up. Scotland and England were at peace. Edward I was the brother of his first wife. The maid, Margaret of Norway, was Alexander's granddaughter and heir. She was betrothed to Edward's boy, the Prince of Wales. Well, the shock-wave news of the king's death alarmed the Scottish nobles, who sent word to Edward. His instructions were to send for the maid Margaret at once. The child queen set sail and landed in the Orkneys, where the frail maid died before ever reaching mainland Scotland. The second disaster rocked the nation. With 13 claimants to the throne, the country was on the verge of civil war. These natural disasters had wreaked havoc. A civil one could be avoided. The noble's decision: ask Edward to decide. He was family after all. What a great idea! Bad move. With Wales united to England, Edward had ambition to add Scotland to his kingdom. The Scots did not anticipate such double dealings at this time of national tragedy. 2,000 of Scotland's high Pageants signed the Ragman's roll, setting Edward up as Lord of the realm of Scotland, giving him the power and the right to choose the next king. Ed decided he needed time to decide whose claim was best. In the meanwhile, he wanted the people to know who was boss. So he moved his troops into castles and towns, changed the laws to be in line with England, and then sent his soldiers out to collect taxes to finance his war with France. He hummed and hawed for several years. When pressed for a decision, he chose the weak John Balliol over the strong Robert de Bruce. Edward persuaded Balliol to sign away his powers as king, for the honour of being a puppet whose strings the English king pulled. Enter William Wallace. Insulted by one of Edward's troops, Wallace made him pay with his life. In retaliation, the occupying force set Wallace's home ablaze, with his wife inside. This part of Scotland's journey is well documented. Though not of royal blood, Wallace was a trained knight. He raised an army to end the rule of the Hammer of the Scots. John Balliol gave up and fled to France. Wallace's army did very well until they got hammered at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Our hero Willie hopped over to the Pope to ask for help in rescinding Edward's rights. No joy. Ed and the Pope were in cahoots. The year is now 1296, 10 years without a true King of Scotland. Edward removed the honours of Scotland and the stone, placing them in Westminster Abbey in order to demoralise the Scots. 9 years later, Wallace returned home incognito, only to have an old friend dob him in. Nay, fine. He was captured and taken to London, where he was hung, drawn and quartered.